Okay, hi guys. We are here with the Caregivers 411 for this evening, and we have Kayla Lyman. She is a personal trainer, caregiver, wellness coach, and a caregiver to her son who is also has disabilities. So this gives her a whole nother level of information that she can share with us tonight. So Kayla, take it away.
Okay. Since I can't see the slides that are in front of you, you'll have to let me know when you go to the next slide for me to share. So the first one is just exactly what Amy just shared about me. I am a certified trainer through NASM, which is one of the most accredited in the US. Caregiver wellness coach. So I became a trainer specifically to train caregivers. That's why I did this. Became this as my profession. I'm a nutrition coach and I'm also a caregiver myself. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. And okay, so today we're just going to talk about what my story is and how this came about for me, why this is extremely important, not just for myself, but for genuinely every caregiver. How to be motivated, how to help you with a fitness routine, and then what I provide and question and answer time. So we can move on. This is a picture of my family. So I am a single mom of 4. My son with disabilities there, his name is Phineas. We call him Finn. Um, Amy got to meet him at the airplane thing, yeah, with one of my daughters. I actually have full custody of all of my children. So when I talk about like making time, like I am not making that up. Like I have all of these people all the time. I do have some in-home help for my son, but yep, it's just me and them. So I've had to really figure out how to make this work for myself. I'm his primary caregiver. He has FOXG1 syndrome, which is very rare. He's 10 years old now. He's diagnosed at 10 months old and was the 189th diagnosis in the world. So what he has is super rare. He doesn't walk or talk. What he has is a genetic mutation, so it affects all of his body. He has very sporadic movements with his body with a movement disorder. He has a feeding tube, takes 21 meds a day, med doses a day, and uses various pieces of medical equipment, has a communication device, and it says a great sense of humor because he understands everything and he's completely hilarious and he's just the best. So yeah, that's kind of a picture of how encompassing what it is like to that I understand as a caregiver what it's like when you have a lot on your shoulders for what you do as a caregiver. The next slide, the fourth slide. This is what I like to say to my clients. This picture was taken just this past Sunday at a pumpkin patch. I was like, oh, I get to include it this time in my slides. So this is me with Finn. He's getting really tall, but yeah, I love to say caregivers are athletes in the arena of love. I just think that that's such a beautiful picture of what we do as caregivers, as we really are training every day for something that most people just don't understand our world and how much goes into the amount of effort it takes for us to continue to care for someone on a daily basis who has more needs than a neurotypical child or adult person that we're caring for with special needs or disabilities or whatever it might be. So I fully come in this with an attitude of I respect the people that I care for and what they do and understand you in a way that probably most trainers in the world would not be able to fully grasp. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So I talk a lot about with my clients that I train that all have people with special needs that they care for. This uh, attitude of guilt that we struggle with regularly, saying things like "I don't have time" or "I'm already exhausted. How am I going to fit one more thing in my schedule? My needs should come last. Taking time for myself is selfish." Or if I stop, everything's going to fall apart. Like if I have to step away to try to do something for me, how's this going to impact the person that I'm caring for? And sometimes those are real things because it's not always easy to find someone that's going to come and take care of that person while we go to the gym or something. Like, you have to get really creative. But that's part of my job, and it's what I'm really good at. It's what I love doing for caregivers, is helping them figure out, how do we have a reframe in our mind of how do we care for ourselves, and what does that look like specifically for yourself, with your own situation. So over on the right side is just a little bit of how can we think about these things differently. So instead of I don't have time, you can start with 10 minutes a day and allow yourself to have this little, it's just like, something is always better than nothing. So if you've got 10 minutes, well, that's better than nothing. And, eventually that could turn into more time that you're giving for yourself as far as working out and gaining strength. And we'll get to why that is important in a little bit. Saying I'm already exhausted. You could think about movement as movement and exercise restores me. A stronger body makes my day feel lighter. My needs aren't a priority. We can think of differently as my well-being is a priority. I am the foundation of someone else's care. The way we care for ourselves directly impacts the way that we can care for the person that we're caring for on a daily basis. It's the same concept of putting your own oxygen mask on before you care for someone else. The more that you neglect yourself, that will, over time, regardless of whether you want that to happen or not, it will impact the person that you're caring for. And thinking self-care is selfish. Self-care is sustaining care. When I'm stronger and calmer and healthier, I give better care. If you feel like if you're gonna step back and things might fall apart, you can reframe that as thinking, I'm allowed to receive care, not just give it. I think as caregivers, we're so used to giving, 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 and pouring out from ourselves that we kind of will feel like, oh my God, if I'm not doing this, what's going to happen? We can think rest and strength are part of caregiving, not an escape from it. It's part of it. Okay, so we are ready to step to slide number 6. Okay, caring for yourself, the importance of strength training. So strength training, this is going to go through like, why is this more important than, say, why am I not prescribing yoga or prescribing Pilates or things? And I would never tell someone, don't do those things. That would be silly. But I'm going to go through specifically why strength training itself is what I would say more important than those things. Yoga and Pilates especially are isometrics, and those do serve a purpose, but they're not going to load your muscle in a way that's going to create more strength for you. Trying to prop my phone up here where it's not gonna fall over while I'm sharing. Okay. So it protects your body, it reduces pain, strain, and injury, improves your energy and mood. You can show up with more patience and presence. Build resilience. Stress lands on you instead of staying trapped in you. Um, Sustains you long term, so you can continue caregiving without burnout and feeling run down or carrying chronic pain. Self care isn't a luxury; it's a lifeline. I think that's just such an incredibly important way that we need to shift our thoughts towards, taking care of our own bodies. Is it's not necessarily something that's just like, oh, that's just a luxury to be able to work out. Like, actually, it's a lifeline, because the things that we refuse to do now are going to catch up with us later. There's no way around that. It's just because your body is a body and you're human and you're built to move. So it's just so abundantly important that we do that. And when I first started strength training, I just did that twice a week and found ways to make that like a sacred space for myself. This was before I was a trainer, and just had to figure out ways for myself to make that a priority, and it just ended up feeding into so many more important things for my life that benefited my son in the long run as well. Okay, we'll go to slide 7 there. Why strength training protects you from stress. everybody as a caregiver experiences stress on a level that is often really hard for other people to understand, what our world is like and how much stress we have on us and all the different, insurance things we tackle and paperwork that we have to fill out and appealing for things that insurance won't cover. And the list goes on. I've got my son's 2 hour appointment tomorrow morning. He's got an IEP next week. All the things that we do as parents on a regular basis or caregivers that are caring for older people as well. Um, it's all the same. It's all the same bucket because we are all humans with a human body. Um, so why it protects you from stress is it regulates stress hormones, which is cortisol. Most of us have heard of cortisol, which means your system stays calm under pressure. It builds physical resilience for stronger muscles, joints, and posture, meaning your body can handle daily strain better, reduces inflammation and tension, or improves mood, sleep, and energy, so you bounce back faster. And this means your body is less reactive to daily stressors. So overall, there's actually going to be more that we talk about in a little bit that doesn't have anything to do with how you look either, about what is the importance of this for the long term that's going to affect you as a caregiver. We'll go to slide 8. The real strength for real life as a caregiver for real protection. This is a picture of me lifting my son's wheelchair into our van because I don't have a wheelchair accessible van right now. So I just lift his chair into our van every day of my life. And this position I'm in right now is a hip hinge, which has saved my back more than I can tell you, in the long run, for how that would affect my body if I didn't know how to position myself. So as a caregiver, our bodies lift and carry and transport and support every day. So learning proper movements like hip hinge protects your lower back and your core and your pelvic floor. Hello, I've had 4 babies. These are things that really affect my body, okay? Like very real life stuff that all of us, especially as women who've had babies, know those things and how they affect us. And we don't feel good a lot of the times. Protects your shoulder and your neck and your overall energy. Let's see. Okay, we will move on to slide number 9. So this is something when I have clients in person with me that I'm going to train you as though you are an athlete to do this movement. And again, if you're moving your body, if you're caring for someone,
Kayla,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I think I must have, what screen does it, what does it look like? It's supposed to look like.
it's 9, slide 9, it says hip hinge at the top of it.
Sorry about that. I clicked a button
They're in like,
and
what?
it went to a different page. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no, we're good. This is a movement, the hip hinge that is like the picture of me lifting my son's chair and his wheelchair into the van. Um, I teach a squat and a hinge, or these movements that we do. Um, and this goes into like, what is this supposed to look like? How is this different than a squat? How is this going to protect my lower back from injury over years and years and years of lifting? And it does. I never ever have back pain because I know how to move my body properly. Um, you can do a hip hinge when you're unloading your dishes from the dishwasher. There are small movements you can do every day that impact your body over time that are these repetitive movements. So this is going into detail about like, well, what would that look like? How do I position my body? This is so much easier to show in person, as you can see, as opposed to on a slide. But I have clients who come into me to see me for these specific things all the time. And I also do in-home visits, which is super fun thing to do with people's real equipment in their home. So let's see here. All right, I'm going to slide 10. Maybe you could like give me a thumbs up when you're there, Amy. Yeah, thanks. Okay. This is a picture of me doing a deadlift. This is a hip hinge. I'm a small little 5'1", 12-year-old sized adult, and I can lift 200 pounds because I've taught myself how to do this properly without hurting myself. and I don't have back pain. Does that mean you have to lift that heavy? No, but your body can be trained to do it specifically where you know how to use your body in a way that you're not going to be injured. So learning how to properly hip hinge has been one of the most beneficial movements as a caregiver. We bend and move so frequently, and oftentimes the tension is felt in our lower back and our shoulders and our neck, putting pressure in places not intended to carry and shift a heavier load. All right, slide 11. Squats is another fundamental human movement that we all do on a regular basis that I train my caregivers to do these because it's just going to help your body be as strong as it can be for the person that you're caring for and yourself. Squats are a functional movement that we use every day, such as picking stuff up off the floor, getting yourself up off the toilet, getting yourself up off, out of a car. It builds strong quads and glutes, protects your knees and your hips, and it creates a strong base. And we create safety in our bodies for our loved ones. Um, I'm hoping that this is starting to make sense in your mind as to like how is it that I create safety for someone else just through exercise. I'm hoping the pieces start falling into place. Amy, we'll go to slide 12. Another fundamental human movement that I'm always going to be teaching is a lunge, which is a split stance, kind of like what this lady is doing, or single leg stance. It helps with better balance and coordination. I teach this in my in-person workshops. I'll bring in my son's actual wheelchair, doing a split stance, standing closer to the person, being able to lift them up and move them in a way that is supporting your body and their body. So this is something that you would use in that type of a situation. Improves core stability, enhancing functionality in everyday movements, such as walking, running, going up and down stairs. Standing in a split stance while moving a loved one at waist height creates a sturdy base and provides more balance while keeping them close to your body. Okay, we'll go on to the next one, 13. I love this picture, this little diagram here, because often people think like, oh, we're working the core is just abs. That's very wrong. We have so many other parts of our core here. We have the obliques on the side as well as the abs, where it wraps all the way down into your pelvic floor. So I train obliques like crazy with my people that I train. So a strong, flexible core underpins almost everything that we do. Supports better posture, stabilizes and supports a healthy lower back, helps with balance, supports better exercise form, enhances flexibility. When the three patterns, so the hip hinge, a squat, and then using your core properly, if you become more resilient in caregiving, it's not going to help, it's not going to break down your body as quickly. All right, slide 14. All right, so surprise, I also don't have a ramp inside my house right now. My entire home is not accessible at the moment, which is kind of a problem, but it's where I am. And a lot of times, as caregivers, you hear it's like the things you'd like to have, the wider doorways or more accessible countertops or whatever. Where I live right now is just not accessible. So I bring my son's wheelchair up 7 cement stairs every day, in and out. And I have had to learn, how do I position my body correctly so that I am not hurting myself bringing his chair. It's not a manual chair, or it is a manual chair. Sorry, it's not a power wheelchair, so it is lighter than a power wheelchair, but still a big piece of metal to haul up a bunch of stairs. So strength training isn't to look fit or to gain a certain aesthetic. I mean, I think looking a certain way could be a bonus, but it's definitely not. If that's your goal, most people don't last very long with your goals. It's to support our lifestyle of caregiving that needs to last us a lifetime. All right, slide 15, strong and healthy caregiving. My son's bigger than this now, but here's a picture of him and his stander. So more equipment for lifting and putting in. As caregivers, our bodies can easily take a toll from all that we do to care for our loved one. Love is the force behind it all. Love is the why, the effort, the motivation, the drive to love him well means I make myself the best possible version of myself. All right, slide 16. Oh, this is where you were at. You're like, why are you talking about a hip hinge and you're carrying groceries? Right. You're like, what's happening here? Um, yeah, lifting items and strength training may make a big difference when you're caring for your loved one day to day. And then it's practical application of, okay, well, now I can do other things in life too. That just makes things so much easier when we're caring for ourselves and strengthening our muscles on purpose. Here's more benefits. So the work we put into our bodies directly affects how we're able to show up in real life. All right, let's go to slide 17. All right, so proper form and strength training is injury prevention, and these things provide body armor for our bodies. In creating a stronger and more stable body for ourselves, we're also making ourselves a fortress against injury and are less susceptible to sickness. We allow ourselves to be strong for ourselves first and those we care for as well. Think of it as putting your own face mask on first, like I was saying earlier. It's a gift to have a strong and functional body, and no one can give that to you but yourself. You cannot buy that at the store. All right, slide 18. Muscles absorb impact. This is kind of why a muscle is body armor. If it's like, what does that even mean? Stronger muscles mean stronger everyday movements. Strong muscles stabilize your core and your joints, and muscles protect long-term health. All right, slide 19. This is one of my favorites. Thank you. Physical and mental health benefits of exercise that have nothing to do with how you look. I love this beautiful list because who does not want this? Improved sleep, heart health, brain health, supports cognition, great emotional stress and stress outlet, balances hormones, decreases risk of falls, reduces the risk of disease, helps balance blood sugar levels, improves self-esteem, boosts metabolism, and makes you more resilient to stress. So if someone gave you this whole list and was like, would you like this thing without telling you what it was first? I mean, who's going to look at that and be like, I don't want that? I mean, that's kind of amazing that we have access to something that's this good for our bodies. I just think that's incredible. So hopefully everybody can, wherever you're at now, can be encouraged to just continue on in your fitness journey with different eyes and different lens towards caregiving. Slide 20, please. Building strength is a gift to yourself and your loved ones. So I began strength training or training caregivers in 2022, many of whom had never tried weightlifting before. I've worked with lots of clients who have started out and they're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm just like, that's great. Let's begin. Not a problem. It can feel intimidating and emotional, and I'm passionate about helping people navigate those feelings, especially those who feel like they don't belong in a gym. Especially women tend to feel like this. Everybody belongs there, nobody belongs there more than anyone else does. Or if you're working out at home and you're just showing up and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, you have a resource right in front of you now to help you to know where to start. I'm really proud of beginners who don't know what they're doing. I love, love, love helping people in that situation. And I'm always super proud of people for starting where they're at. It takes a lot of self-efficacy and dedication to stay consistent with working out. And fitness is earned through hard work when nobody can give that to you but yourself. It's a gift you give yourself for better physical health, emotional resilience, and the strength to care for your loved one. Okay, slide 21. Okay, this is one of my clients, Angie. Her son is Caden. She has been a wonderful client to work with. She brought her son in, who's 10 years old, with SMA to make sure she was lifting him properly off the floor. So she brought her son, we laid him down on the floor, and I was able to watch how she does what she does with him and was able to coach her through, yes, this looks really good, or hey, here's a different way to do this that's going to protect your body in a different way that we want for you long term. I love doing that. She's really put the work in to come every week to see me regularly at the gym, which I'm here right now in a therapy room at BioFit in Overland Park, is where I train my clients. And I also do online training, which I'll get to that in a little bit. But all right, slide 22. Jamie and Colin are a husband and wife that I've been training for over a year now. Incredibly proud of them who show up and have made a lot of progress. Their 13-year-old daughter has cerebral palsy, and they are taking their own strength seriously to be able to care for her as she gets bigger. And the next slide, slide 23, is a picture of them with their family, with their daughter, and then here they are training with me. That was actually taken this week. Yeah, it's super fun to train caregivers, you guys, because we have so much to talk about that other people are like, nobody gets this, nobody understands this. All kinds of stuff throughout life. I love it. So, all right, slide 24. So, as I said, I got my certification through NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I have just found so much of the importance of finding your why. For why are you working out? If you don't have a goal in mind, that's kind of um, the reason why you're doing it. And as I said, a lot of people who start out with fitness, whether they're caregivers or not, and they just are like, I just want to look good, it just doesn't get you very far. And I think for me, as far as us being caregivers, we have the greatest ability to have such a wonderful why with the person that we're caring for. It's like, I can't think of a better reason for us to have a great why as to why we're having a motivation to work out. All right. Slide 25. These are just hitting on some points that I've already kind of hit on here. I know nobody really wants one more thing to do as a caregiver, to feel like you just like, I gotta get this done. But seeing the benefits of having a fitness routine that works for what your lifestyle looks like, and being able to stick to it and seeing the positive changes that you see in life becomes so much more valuable and so much more something that makes it seem like not just something on a to-do list to do, but something that brings you a lot of joy. And I've seen that change in all of my clients, truly. So we only have one body, and as humans, our bodies were built to move. So I love coaching people through something that's truly just should be a part of daily life, like brushing your teeth. The last line there says, as easy it is as it is for caregivers to put their own needs to the side, it is imperative that we feel empowered to take charge of our own health and have the proper tools to care for our bodies as we care for those we love. All right, slide 26. Thank you. It says, you are enough. Whatever you realistically have to give right now in this season of your life, it's enough. Um, Working with so many different types of people. I also have clients that aren't caregivers, and a lot of them are older, much, much older, people that have had strokes, people that have chronic pain. Um, it's really just about finding what works for you for your specific situation, even if you're someone who has your own pain and illness or disease or whatever it might be that you're coming into it. A lot of caregivers have a lot of issues with themselves as well. Guarding your time and pour into yourself as a caregiver who gives so much for others. Treat your workouts as sacred space. You deserve your own kindness and effort for yourself as well as for the person that you're caring for. All right, slide 27. Thank you. Caring for yourself during rough patches. The main goal of health is achieving homeostasis, a state of balance among all body systems essential for survival and proper function. Um, so during a tough week that I'll have occasionally where maybe my son's sleeping really terribly, like I feel like he's back to being a toddler and he's up in the night crying, and I'm up with him 5 times a night, and I'm the only one on call. I'm the only adult in the house. I do all of that. Okay, when I am like exhausted or he's sick and I'm up with him in the night, I change what I'm doing. I'm not going to lift as heavy. I really honor what my body needs during that time. I'm going to dial it back. I'm going to take more naps. Instead of doing a workout, I'm going to be taking care of myself. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do more mobility and stretching during those weeks. So I just always want to be like, you go about it in a realistic and a balanced way where you're not just, plowing through it because you're supposed to, but really honoring yourself with what you need during those ebbs and flows of life, as everyone has. Okay, slide 28. So we're just talking about this mindset shift again. It's common to feel like if you can't get a full workout in that you failed. Let's just get rid of that because this is not true. Again, something is always going to be better than nothing. I want to rewrite what exercise has to be in order for it to qualify as counting. Pairing working out with other daily activities that you already do is a great way to incorporate movement. We'll talk about like what does that mean. Okay, slide 29. So sometimes if it's like just the thought of doing an actual workout of either going to a gym or starting in my home, for some people is just can feel super overwhelming. So if you're not that person who feels overwhelmed, then that's fantastic. But this is something that I call movement snacks, would be like a short, quick burst of movement that breaks up rest throughout the day. I don't know if anybody's heard that sitting is the new smoking. Sitting for long periods of time is so detrimental to our bodies because we were not made to do that all the time. Like we have all these repercussions for sitting because our bodies weren't meant to sit. And so, it's just culturally what we do, but it doesn't mean that that's what's best for us. So an example of like a movement snack would be stretching or walking, jogging, fidgeting, moving side to side, shaking, dancing, taking the stairs, parking farther away, challenge your balance, stand on one foot while you're brushing your teeth. Why these matter is these movements still affect your blood flow, your decreases joint stiffness, increases focus and energy level, and just feeling better in general. So again, something is always better than nothing. All right, slide 30. So thank you. Some recommendations here are if you're interested in starting weightlifting, or consider taking a class with a local accredited personal trainer to learn proper form and prevent injury, or explore local classes or activities that spark your interest. I've been rock climbing for 4 years. I actually got into that before I started lifting weights. I've only been strength training for 4 years. And I started rock climbing before that, and I climb about twice a week still. And I'm completely obsessed with paddleboarding in the summer. But different things, it's just like, what's the movement of the day? What's something that I'm doing to move my body that is fun and interesting and different and gets me moving and makes my body just feel alive? Because I'm completely obsessed with that feeling, and it just makes me feel wonderful. All right, we're on slide 31. I'm showing up with strength. Caregiving requires a lot of putting anything else on hold. And if there's anything I've learned about myself in the process over the past 10 years, it's that I'm here for it. This kind of life requires a lot of me. And I am okay with that. So if it's going to require a lot of me, I'm going to be showing up the best I can. A lot of adjustments to plans and schedules, lack of sleep, rearranging what I thought life would look like. Probably everybody can understand that feeling. Building up myself physically and mentally to show up for this precious boy of mine. I'm here for all of it. We'll go to slide 32. Okay, working out for good. So I needed an outlet to escape for myself in the beginning when I started caregiving all by myself. And while at the same time realizing the weight of responsibility I had on my shoulders for my son, knowing that one day he's not going to be a little boy anymore, he's going to be a 35-year-old man that I'm still caring for. And how on earth is my body going to withstand that? And so I had to figure out how to be strong, both physically and mentally, for my son and my other children. So this goes hand in hand because this has given me something that benefits my son directly, but it also is someplace that I have my own goals for myself, that I get to be proud of myself, that I get to feel super encouraged. And I have just grown so much in my confidence seeing what I can do and how strength impacts other parts of my life. All right, next slide. I think for the sake of time, will you switch to slide 35? Movement is self-care. The thing about strength and movement is that culturally we've been taught to separate it from other parts of our life. The reality is, as I've said lots of times already, our bodies are built to move. It's not supposed to be these little segmented things that we just think about as something else that we do. It's supposed to be integrated into life. When we compartmentalize exercise, it becomes something optional instead of a vital part of life. Just like we brush our teeth to prevent decay or put on a sleep belt for safety, movement is essential. When we make it a regular part of our routine, it becomes natural. It's just who we are, it's what we do. Movement is self care. So, this is your call to action to get after it. Slide 36, strength training for caregivers is our armor. When I'm strong, I can lift my son without fear of dropping him. Working on building a strong core means my spine is more protected when I transfer his body or pick him up off the floor. Gaining strength for me means safety for him. If you want to join me in becoming stronger for yourself and the person you're caring for, start thinking about creative ways to get moving. Okay. Slide 37. Okay. I have put exercises on here if anybody wants to like take a picture of the screen or whatever. I've actually put realistic exercises that people can do that have no equipment. So if you're like, well, what am I coming away with today? Here's an exercise you can do at home without any equipment. Does not matter if you have no equipment. There's one here, and then there's another one. Slide 38 is one that you could do with equipment. So I have one for each of those. And it kind of gives some instructions in there. And then slide 39. Okay. This is all of my information, how to reach me, my email, my Instagram account, my website, where I train out of, which is BioFit in Overland Park, what I offer. So I offer online training through a platform called True Coach, which is an app. There's all, if you're like, well, I have limited resources, limited money, I don't have equipment, please reach out to me anyways. I can work with just about anyone in any situation. There's something that we can do to meet you where you're at. Okay. That's my favorite thing to do. Everyone needs to feel like they can be met where they're at with exactly what you have now. It's enough. Okay. Nothing is going to be like that doesn't work. We'll figure it out. I do in-person one-on-one training at this gym. I do small groups as well. And then I do in-home visits too, to teach people how to use the equipment that you're working with how to move your body functionally in a way that's not going to hurt yourself, and what exercises will support you specifically for your specific situation as a caregiver. And then, as approved by SOAR, I have my Venmo on here in case anyone felt like they would like to donate to my business and my cause, and I would so greatly appreciate that. So it's a little QR code. You just scan it with your phone and it'll pop up. And that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for coming, to everybody who showed up. I love being able to speak on these things that I'm very passionate about.
Thank you so much, Kayla. First, let's just open up, see if anyone has any questions for you. I've
Yeah.
got the chat open as well. If you are off camera, you feel free to put something in the chat. Someone was asking if we will be putting this on up the video, and yes, I, I will be trying to get this up on our YouTube page in the next couple of weeks. Um, yeah, as soon as I get this time in my bandwidth in my schedule to get that up, but it will be coming to there. But if anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. And I know one question, Kayla, is people might be thinking that I'm constantly hearing from families is, especially as we all know so well as caregivers, we just don't have a lot of time. And so a lot of times people think, oh, doing, exercise or fitness, that's a big time commitment to make.
Mm-hmm.
What what would you tell someone in regards to that, and where with just starting? It's
Yeah.
You don't have to be doing hours at a time. It's just
No.
starting. But what would you recommend?
Yeah. I would be able to help someone write a program based on what, like, you just want to get in 20 minutes at home here and there, what you want to do with what you have available. But also just thinking about it in this long-term mindset. If you don't spend time on it now, on your health now and your fitness now, you will be forced to deal with that as you age. Your body is going to deteriorate one way or another, but the more you pour into yourself now, and this is all scientifically backed things, like it's not just some I don't know, woo-woo thing to say, but you're gonna spend money on doctors later, or you're gonna spend time and money on your fitness now. It's kind of like, okay, do you want to be making time for this and pouring a little bit of yourself into this now, or do you want to have degenerative disc disease and rotator cuff surgery later because you did not put your time into it now? It's kind of like, it's worth that time, and it's kind of, just saying, like I've said in my talk, like treating it as sacred space and figuring out, like, okay, I'm going to give 20 minutes during, 2 times a week, and this is where I'm going to start. And seeing, like, just valuing that time as something that you're pouring into that bucket, like your savings account for 15, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. This doesn't just affect you now, this affects you long term. So, it's kind of like, is that worth it to you?
Yeah, good. All right. Any other questions? Well, Kayla, I just want to thank you for talking on this. As a very important talk, and especially for all caregivers, it's always hard to find the time, but it's vital that we are able to take care of our bodies so that we can be there and take care of our kids. Um,
Yeah.
and they all are cute and start off small, but these kids turn into big people,
Yeah.
and a lot of times when we're still having to provide care for them and help them in lifting and meeting all their toileting needs and bathing needs and lifting and everything, we got to do it right, or we can definitely be hurting ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I would just encourage anybody that, if you just, wherever, whatever, in any way that you would like to reach out to me with questions, or for, how can I start, how can I make a workout plan for myself, like in any way that I can help. Like, I am a resource for this specific area. This is what I want to offer to the special needs world and caregiver community. So thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kayla. That was really
Yeah, well,
interesting.
thank you for doing this, and just kind of let everyone. I think I'm going in and out. I'm sorry. I don't know
Yeah,
if
do you want
you
me
can
to
hear me or not,
say
but
it?
yeah, and share
So,
about the next 2 months with holidays.
yeah, I figured. So the next 2 months, with it being November and December, we will not be having a caregivers 411, just because it's lands on Thanksgiving week, and then the next one lands on Christmas week. So but we will be back in January. And like Doc said, this will be up on YouTube at some point in the quick future. But if you need any information about Kayla, please reach out to me if you didn't have the ability to scan her QR code or anything. But yeah, I can send out any information for you to contact her directly. And we're really excited that you came here. It was a really important talk, and I think everybody got something out of it. I know I did, and I appreciate you coming here and doing this.
Great. Love it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for everyone for logging on, and we will see you in January.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.